Jagadbijamadyam Niriham Nirakaram Omkara Vedyam Yato Jayate Palyate Yena Vishwam Tamisham Bhaje Liyate Yatra Vishwam Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Dear devotees, so today we have come to the last day of our retreat. Everything that starts come to an end. Is it not? That is why Jagat is mithya. Because here everything comes to an end. Is it not? The pot comes to an end. The tumbler comes to an end. The plates come to an end. But what always exists is clay. Is it not? Clay. Clay alone exists. Clay is eternal. But the different forms which the clay assumes, the forms keep on changing. That is why it is referred to as mithya, that which goes away. But clay is ever existing. Now today, as it is the last day, there are many verses to be taken. I am going to skip certain verses till now, and I want to sum up the whole things also in a half an hour's time. We should extract the whole thing and try to understand the gist of what we have studied in the last 2 days. So let us just go ahead with a few more verses and then we'll summarize the whole thing. That will be better. So yesterday we had seen verse number 64. In all these verses, the main theme is that there is nothing existing apart from Ishvara. This is the thing. Advaita is the simplest thing. We think that Advaita is very difficult. Actually speaking, Advaita is the simplest thing. Dvaita and Vishishta Advaita, they make things complicated. It's just the opposite. Advaita is the simplest thing with no complications. The moment you bring duality, the moment you distance yourselves from Ishvara, you're creating complications. And somehow we have become fond of being in complicated situations. This is the problem. We have become fond of and used to be in complicated situation. We don't want to come to a state of simplified existence. Advaita is that simplified state of existence in which there is no compound or there is no complexity. Everything is simple because everything is one. Ishvara alone exists. This is the clarion call of all the rishis. And this is what is being reiterated again and again in these verses, in and through so many illustrations. The great Acharya is saying, you see waves on the surface of the ocean. Do waves exist? Or does the ocean exist? Do waves exist? What are these waves? It's ocean, is it not? You see pots, tumblers, plates, all made up of clay. Do pots and tumblers and plates exist? What is existing? Clay is existing. You see bracelets, anklets, necklace, earrings, nose rings made up of gold. Do these ornaments exist? Or does gold exist? Gold exists. You see Jiva and Jagat. Does Jiva and Jagat exist? It is Ishvara which is existing, which is appearing in the form of Jiva and Jagat. See, in so many ways, these rishis, they are trying to make us understand. Should I use that word? Oh, Mudha. In how many ways they are struggling to make us understand. My dear children, please understand. This Jiva and Jagat, they are just like two small waves of the ocean called Ishvara. Ishvara is the ocean, and this Ishvara ocean is breaking into waves, which is referred to as Jiva and Jagat. Try to picturize it. You have to change the vision. You have to bring in the new vision. What we are seeing as Jagat, this is just a wave of Ishvara. Ishvara alone is existing. But if you look at this without reference to Ishvara, that is our problem. Presently, our state is what? We are looking at this without reference to Ishvara. You are looking at the waves without reference to ocean. You are looking at the pots and tumblers and plates without reference to clay. This is our predicament. And when you are looking at these things without reference to the main thing, then that thing is mithya. It cannot be satyam. But when you go to the root of it and see the real thing which is existing, then where are the pots, where are the plates, where are the tumblers? It's all clay. Then where is the waves? Where are the waves? It is ocean. Similarly, where is Jagat? There is no Jagat. For the man of wisdom, for a realized soul, there is no Jagat and Jiva. It is Ishvara. For Vivekananda, do you think the world is existing? It is all Brahman. Brahman alone is existing. So we have to bring that drishti now. That will be our practice. Presently, yes, we don't have that drishti, but that has to be cultivated by certain practices. So spiritual life demands a change. If you remember the first day in the first session, I had stated, unless you are ready to change yourself, there is no spiritual life. You may study this book intellectually. It is not going to take you anywhere. It doesn't take us anywhere if you are just studying it intellectually. This is not an intellectual exercise. There has to be a readiness to change ourselves, change our physical habits, change our sensory habits, change our mental habits, change our emotional habits. At every level of the human personality, are you ready to bring about the necessary changes? Then you are a sadhaka. Then you are a spiritual aspirant. Then you are a spiritual seeker. As I said, we are all seekers of truth. We started this session with the idea that we are all seekers of truth. Do we have that spirit? And what do you mean by becoming a seeker of truth? When you are saying that you are a seeker of truth, that means you are ready to change yourself based upon the great teachings given to us by the rishis. Are we ready to change ourselves? If you are not ready to change yourself, if you are reluctant to change yourself, the spiritual life has not even started. Are we ready to change? At all the levels, it's a new way of life. And this is what actually is conducive to the real happiness and well-being of every jiva. We all want happiness in life, is it not? And this is the secret of happiness. Let's see. So this is what now Shankaracharya was presenting to us, this wonderful vision, the ultimate vision. This is what is Aparokshanubhuti, which is not dependent on your sense organs, which is not dependent on your mind or intellect. It is an awareness which is independent of all these mediums. That is why it is referred to as aparoksha. Paroksha jnanam means the jnanam which comes through different mediums. What you see through your eyes is one, this is paroksha jnana. And that jnanam in which no mediacy of the sense organs are needed, that jnanam in which no mediacy of the mind is needed, that immediate jnanam is what is known as Aparoksha jnanam or Aparokshanubhuti. This is the final word in spiritual life. And when one has got this jnanam, the ultimate vision will be what? Ishvara alone is existing. There is nothing else. Whatever we are seeing through the senses, these are all nothing but the different forms of Ishvara. This is what Sri Ramakrishna taught Naren. Naren was saying that I always want to close my eyes and remain in Samadhi. Sri Ramakrishna scolded him. You are saying you are so petty-minded? Only closing your eyes you see God. What about with the open eyes? What is this? With the open eyes, this is nothing but God, Ishvara. This is that Anubhuti. What Shankaracharya is talking about. Now you see the connected dots. These are the great teachings coming from the Upanishads. Sri Ramakrishna is not telling anything new. It is Upanishads teaching. Upanishads teach us to see the reality with our open eyes, not only with closed eyes. In meditation, we intensify this drishti. With open eyes, we see the very same reality throbbing in front of each one of us. With closed eyes, it is God. With open eyes, it is God. This is what the Upanishads teach us. And that is what Shankaracharya has been telling us in last few verses here. Let us just take up a few more verses and then. So the last one we saw was 64. Is it not? Ghatanamna yatha prithvi patanamna hi tantavaha jagannamna chidabhati geyam tat tat abhavatah. What does it mean? What is this ghata? Ghata is only a name given to Prithvi. Is it not? Clay. Ghata is just a name given to clay. What is ghata? Ghata is only a name and a form given to clay. And what is pata? Pata means cloth. Cloth is again just a name and a form given to thread. And you may say waves. What do you mean by wave? Wave is just a name and a form given to water. Similarly, Jagat and Jiva is just a name and a form given to Atman or Ishvara. What we are referring to as Jagat, Jiva, I say it is a dog, it's a cat, it's a man or a woman. These are all just names and forms of whose names and forms? Ishvara's. Now, go back, Swami Vivekananda's beautiful poem, Bengali poem, Bahurupe, Sammukhe Tumar, Chhadiye Kothai Khujicho Ishwar. Where are you searching for God, my dear children? Whatever is standing in front of you is all God's form. We don't understand the simple point. To start with search of God in a temple is okay. Swamiji says that is just a kindergarten of spiritual life. It is good. It is needed. Most of us, we belong, after all, we start our education from kindergarten, is it not? No child gets admitted to college directly. We have to start from the kindergarten. So temples are required. It's very important. But we have to outgrow. We have to understand what is the line of growth. We should understand what this reality is. The reality is this, whatever we are seeing, it's all nothing but forms of Ishvara. And when you remove the names and forms, you realize the reality. That is what? Geyam tat tat abhavatah. When you negate the names and forms, you realize the reality. Ghata. Ghata is a name and a form, is it not? You just remove the name and form, what will you discover? Clay. A wave is just a name and form. You remove the name and form, what will be discovered? Water. Similarly, Jiva and Jagat is only a name and form. You remove this name and form, you will see the main content of what we are experiencing is nothing but Ishvara. So, what is deluding us is names and forms. This is another very big principle of the great teaching of the Rishis, is that Nama Rupa is what is actually deluding us. We are seeing certain rupas, certain forms, and we have given certain names, tagged everything with certain names. and it appears to be independently real. I am seeing a certain form and a tag has been given. This person's name is this. And that entity appears to be independently real owing to this name and form. But are these entities independently real? It cannot be. It's mithya. You remove the name and form, the content is what? Ishvara in so many forms. This is how the truth is realized. Another way of understanding Maya which is defined in our Shastras, Maya is what? Nama Rupa is Maya. It is this name and forms which is actually hiding the truth. It is the name and the form which is hiding the truth. When you go beyond the names and forms, you discover the truth. Names and forms, they hide the truth. If you go beyond the names and forms, you discover the truth. The truth is discovered. It was covered by names and forms. When you go beyond, when you pierce the layer of names and forms, you discover the truth. So beautiful it is. This is what I always say. You dig into the human being, you see this human being is sitting here. You dig into that human being, you see, you will discover God, Ishvara. It's a plain truth. But we don't do that. We are just captivated by the surface names and forms. You dig into it, it is Ishvara. Similarly, you dig into this Jagat, the thing called Jagat which we are seeing through our sense organs, you dig into it, you will discover Ishvara. This is what is Vichara. Presently, we are just glued to the names and forms, the surface view, the surface picture which is revealed to us. And we are deluded and totally mesmerized. But a wise person, a Viveki, doesn't get fooled by what is seen on the surface. A Viveki is a person who pierces the layer, the surface layer, and goes inside and discovers that thing out of which everything is made. That is the spiritual aspirant's vision, a penetrating vision which pierces the external facade and layer and goes deep and sees the real thing which is existing. So what is actually existing is what? Ishvara. So we need to develop that penetrating vision. Yes, what is that?
Maharaji, but all the independent things that are existing, only because of Maya, they've acquired different names and forms.
Yeah.
But they're acting different independently also, Maharaji. It is not as if they are connected. A tree is acting differently than me. So how is it that I can say that both of us are nothing but Ishvara?
Yeah, so this will become clear when only you go to the root of it. You take the example of pot. You take the example of the ornaments. The nose ring has got one function. Can you wear the nose ring on your feet? Can you wear the anklet on your nose? Every ornament has got different functions, appear to have different independent roles, is it not? Can you wear the bangle on your ears? Or can you wear your earrings on your feet? You cannot. So these different things which are made up of names and forms, they appear to have different roles. Trees of one name and one form, it has got certain nature and certain role to play. The man is made a man and a woman, human being, animal, a dog, all different names and forms, and they have apparently different roles to play. This is all apparent, okay? But if you dig into it, if you dig into the nose ring, it is gold. You dig into the anklet, it is gold. You understand? Again, this question is coming because of a sense of realism. Again, I am repeating, this word is very important. It is because of our sense of unquestioned realism about a certain name and form which we are dealing with. An unquestioned realism. Is it really real? You take one example. You experience these things in dream also. Is it not? Now, what is the stuff, the main stuff out of which the dream world is created and made? What is the main stuff? Of course, this we have not discussed actually, so I don't expect a right answer from any one of you. This is a beautiful. by vichar is one thing, and that thoughts is nothing, it is all nothing but Ishvara. Now again, thoughts is just a word. See, everywhere you will find this word nama is coming. You understand? You cannot think without words. Is there any, see, I am talking, you are thinking. Is there any thinking possible without the usage of words? That is what is nama. Nama means what? Words. These words are deluding us. If you go into the content of every word I am talking about, every word, every sound has got actually speaking only one meaning. This is a great discussion in the Mandukya Upanishad. Every word, see, every word, these are all words, no? Word, every, I, you, table, dog. Actually, the meaning of every word is only one, Ishvara. This is a great discussion in one of the Upanishads. So, what is deluding us is these words which are carrying a so-called a temporary meaning, but the real meaning of every word is what? You will come down to that point, it is Ishvara. And you know what is the root word of a root word which is the mother of all the words? Om. That is a fantastic discovery, You should study Mandukya Upanishad to understand the mystery of this. Everything is coming out of Om and everything is merging into Om. Om is that root word, and the meaning of all the words is what? Only one, Brahman. So this is how words delude us. Forms delude us. Go beyond the names. You inquire into every word. What is the meaning of each word? This is harmonium, you may say. This is just a word and a form. You go into it, you will discover God. Anything you take, anything, I'm not only talking about trees and plants and living beings, any object, this table is a word and it is a form. You dig into it, you will discover Ishvara. Now, this is a beautiful subject that you have touched upon. This is the beauty of Hindus and Hindu Dharma. So, what is the conclusion? Anything you dig into, you will discover Ishvara, is it not? That's why a Hindu bows down to a tree, a Hindu bows down to a mountain, a Hindu bows down to Ganga. Because this is not Ganga, it is Ishvara. These Hindus alone do it. Westerners, they say Hindus are superstitious people, they bow down to stone. What do they know about the profundity of this great practice? For a Hindu, everything is a form of Ishvara. He bows down to everything. Everything. He bows down to a stone. Because it is not a stone. You dig into it, Ishvara will come out. You understand the vision? This is the great way of life of the Hindus, which you will not find anywhere in this world. Nowhere. For their God is somewhere up in the sky. And this is a world. No, for us, this is not the world. This is a form of God here itself. A Hindu bows down to a tree, a plant. The Westerners, they say these are all most superstitious people. They don't know these are the most evolved people in the world. And they are just babies who talk about such things. This is the vision of the Vedic rishis. You understand the point? This is the practice. A Hindu bows down to everything. That's why he bows. He sees a Ganga, he bows down. For him, everything is Ma Ganga. This is Himalaya is Shiva. Everything is divinized. This is the way we have to divinize everything, spiritualizing everyday life. Now, see, the conclusion is this. This is what Sri Ramakrishna is saying. You tie the knowledge of Advaita to the corner of your cloth and then lead your life. What does it mean? See Ishvara everywhere and then lead your life. This is the greatest teaching which Sri Ramakrishna has given, most important teaching, which we never discuss this in our satsangs. And this is not a new teaching. This is what is the teaching of Shankaracharya. Advaita. Ishvara alone is existing. See everything as Ishvara and then lead your life. You see how wonderful your life becomes. Then everything is divine. Everyone is sacred. Everyone is divine. Every man, every woman is a form of God. You deal with others with that sense of dignity, respect, with a sense of adoration. When you're serving your children, you're not doing any favor to them, you're worshipping God. When you're serving your husband, when you're serving your wife, when you're serving your family members, you're not doing any favor to anybody. When you give 10 rupees to a beggar, you're not doing any favor to that person. You are giving 10 rupees. Who are you? You should thank that beggar, that beggar is giving you a chance so that you can exercise your charity. We have to be grateful to that beggar. That beggar has given me a chance to worship God in that form. The whole attitude and drishti changes. Next time when you give 10 rupees to a beggar, be very careful. You are worshipping God. Where is the beggar? It is Ishvara in that form. This is what is Advaita Gyan Achale Bende. Then lead your life. Tie the knowledge of Advaita to the corner of your cloth and then lead your life. This is the highest vision of the Rishis. Sri Ramakrishna has come to show that to us. How to do that? That is why we are worshipping this form. Otherwise, what is the meaning of worshipping this form? They are the role models of what we are studying here. You understand this? Anyway, this question is a very good question. That tree, everything is a form of God. If you dig into it, it will come. But it doesn't come very easily because our mind is so much conditioned in an opposite way. That is why still, फिर भी स्वामी जी ये सब तो आप बोल रहे हैं लेकिन तो पेड़ तो है ना. This is because the mind is heavily conditioned in the wrong way. Now the whole struggle of sadhana is to uncondition it. That is the very big struggle, Our mind is taught, in America, Swami Vivekananda is the modern Shankaracharya. What else? He is hammering this idea, American audience, Advaita, Atman. Remember one thing, Vivekananda never spoke about Ramakrishna, for 9 years. What's Ramakrishna? He was only talking about Atman because that is the real thing. Throughout his 9 years, he is the modern Shankaracharya because that is the truth. Your true nature is the Atman. Please know it. Everything else that we are thinking about ourselves is just a pure imagination. Today, tomorrow, day after, 10 years later, 10 lives later, some day or the other, each one of us is going to discover our true nature. It is only a matter of time. If you start the process, you can expedite it, that's all. Are we really serious about it? If you're serious, then you will take this whole thing in the proper perspective. So Swami Vivekananda there in America, he was hammering this idea day in and day out. What? Advaita, Advaita, Atman, Atman, Atman. Constantly telling, you are the Atman, you are the Atman, you are the Atman, you are not this, you are the Atman, you are not the body, you are the Atman. So one person stood up from the audience and says, Swamiji, you are trying to hypnotize us. Hypnotism is like that, constantly you say, you are the Atman, you are the Atman, you are the Atman. It is a hypnotism, So Swamiji said, I am not hypnotizing you, I am dehypnotizing you. Because you are already hypnotized. You are heavily hypnotized. You think I am a body, I am a man, I am a woman. This is all state of hypnotism. That we think that this is a jagat, this is a pure hypnotism. We have been hypnotized into thinking that this is world and this is jiva. These Shankaracharyas and Vivekanandas are the great dehypnotizers. You see how he is dehypnotizing us in so many ways and how kindly and compassionately he is dehypnotizing us. My dear children, dehypnotize yourself. You're not this, you're that. You're not this, you're that. Everything is Ishvara. Everything is Ishvara. It is dehypnotism which is going on. It is because of this heavy conditioned mind which we have cultivated owing to ignorance that this whole thing becomes so difficult to digest. But somewhere we have to start this process. So that is why we need such retreats once in a while to come and do this. You see, so this is what here Shankaracharya is saying, that you remove the names and forms, what is discovered is the reality. It is names and forms which are actually deluding and distracting us in understanding what the reality is. Now, next verse. Sarvopi vyavaharastu brahmana kriyate janai Ajnanat na vijananti mrideva hi ghatadikam. So beautiful. See, this is a beautiful. Sarvopi vyavaharastu. All the vyavahara which is going on here, now just see everything. It's a beautiful statement. Sarvopi vyavaharastu. All our vyavahara. From the time we woke up in the morning and what is going on now, Brahmana kriyate janaihi. It is all happening in and through Brahman. It is all happening in and through Ishvara. This is what Shankaracharya says in one of his commentaries, that from the day we were born, each one of us, we have never experienced anything apart from Ishvara. Can you imagine? We are in... Even now, we are actually dealing with Ishvara. No one is understanding this point. It is just like, as I said, the fish in the water thinks that the water is going to come at some later point of time. We are just like that. We are thinking this is world, and at some point of time, God will land up from somewhere, from some heaven. This is the idea with which we are used to live with. But what is the truth? Sarvopi vyavaharastu brahmana kriyate janaihi. All the vyavahara is going in and through in Ishvara, in Brahman. But no one is understanding this point. Maya, ignorance. So beautiful point. And then Ajnanat. Why this is happening? Ignorance. Ajnanat. Na vijananti. Because of ignorance, no one is understanding this point. Ajnanat na vijananti mrideva ghatadikam. Just like, you are dealing with pots and tumblers and plates and spoons made up of clay. You are dealing with all these pots and tumblers and plates and spoons. What are you dealing with always? Clay. An ignorant man will think that I am dealing with pots and tumblers. But all the while, that person is dealing with clay. Similarly here, because of ignorance, we are thinking that I am dealing with a man and a woman and a jagat and a dog and a cat. For a wise man, we are always dealing with Ishvara. You understand? See how de-hypnotism is going on. How Shankaracharya is trying to de-hypnotize us. My dear children, remember, when you are dealing with somebody, you know that you are dealing with Ishvara in so many forms. Very important point. Karyakaranata nityam aste ghatamrador yatha tathaiva shruti yuktibhyam prapancha brahmanoriha. This is the connection between Karya and Karana. Karana is cause, Karya is effect, causality. Is it not? One is the cause and the effect. Is the effect essentially different from the cause? We have to ask this question. Very important. Vedanta discusses this very elaborately. Causality, cause and effect. Is the whole modern physics is nothing but all the physical science is what? All based upon causality. Cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect. One is the cause, other is the effect. But the basic principle is that cause and effect are non-different. Is it not? And the effect can never exist without the cause. And whatever is the cause, effect is also of the same nature of the cause. Effect cannot be of a different nature because it is essentially an expression of the cause. What is effect? Effect is nothing but cause evolved and manifested. Effect is nothing but cause manifested or evolved. And what is cause? The effect involved and unmanifested is what is cause. Am I sure? Correct? Let me repeat it once again. It may sound a bit technical. What is an effect? Effect is nothing but the cause manifested. Cause is something which is unmanifested. When the cause manifests, it becomes effect. And what is effect? Effect is nothing but cause manifesting. And what is cause? Cause is nothing but effect unmanifested or involved. Cause evolved is effect and effect involved is cause. They are one thing, they are not two different things. Now this is the connection between the so-called Ishvara and Jagat. This Jagat, so-called Jagat, is nothing but Ishvara, which is the cause, evolved and manifested. And what is manifested is Ishvara only. Is it not? If clay is the cause and pot is the effect, is it not? From where does the pot evolve? It evolves and gets manifested from the clay.
Seed and tree we can take.
Huh?
Seed and tree.
Anything. What is a tree? Is it separate from the seed? It is seed. The whole of the tree is involved in the seed. And that which was involved, when it gets evolved or manifested, it becomes a tree. And the whole content of the tree is there in the seed itself. The tree cannot have a separate, different, independent nature apart from the seed. Similarly, you take the example of this clay and pot. Pot is what? Clay manifested. And what is clay? The pot unmanifested is clay. Are they two different things? Similarly, this Ishvara and Jagat. Ishvara is the cause, the clay, which is evolving and manifesting in the form of Jagat and Jiva. And what is Ishvara? This Jagat and Jiva involved or resolved back is what is Ishvara. So Ishvara and Jagat, what? Are they two different things? No. The point is clay alone is existing. There is no second entity called pot. The pot is only in Vyavahara. In our transactional plane, you're dealing with pots and plates and tumblers, is it not? But this is the big point, Vyavahara. So see, what you're talking about, tree has got different role, this has got different role. At the transactional plane, at the Vyavaharika plane, everything seems to have different roles. In a jar made up of clay, it has got a different purpose, to store water. And in a plate made up of clay, it has got different purpose. It is going to play a different role. This is all happening in Vyavahara, where you're dealing with pots and plates and tumblers, where these objects seem to play different independent roles. But what is the essential ingredient out of which these things are made? It is clay. So cause and effect, they are one. And that is the connection between Brahman and Jagat. This Jagat is nothing but Brahman. This Jagat is nothing but Ishvara. It's a great point. Now, all these things are objects of meditation, okay? This is not, you have to meditate on, now this should be the meditation now, seeing everything as Ishvara. This should be not limited to one particular form. Meditating on this Virat itself as the Ishvara, it's a form of Ishvara in which you have to include your own self also. Means you don't exist now. The central point will be what? Does this small individuality called Shuddhidananda exist? No. Even now the Shuddhidananda entity is not existing. Who is? It is Ishvara's form. Does this Ramesh exist? No, he doesn't exist. Even now he is not existing. It is Ishvara's form. It may sound to be a bit, no, it's a fact. You have to be bold. If you're a seeker of truth, you take the bold stance. Come on, don't compromise then. You have to learn to look upon everybody as Ishvara's form. This is Vedantic sadhana. No joke. So, this is the relationship between Ishvara and Jagat. They are one. That is what Shankaracharya is saying in this verse here. He is saying, Karya Karanata Nityamaste Ghatamridor Yatha. Just like the relationship between Ghata and clay. One is the cause, other the effect. But are they two different things? It is one. Tathaiva, similarly, Shruti Yuktibhyam, Shruti, the Upanishads, and also the great reasoning given to us by the rishis. What do they conclude? Prapancha Brahmano Riha. That is the connection between Prapancha and Brahman or Ishvara. It is one entity. There are not two things existing here. Grihyamane Ghate Yadvad Vrittikayati Vaibalat Vikshamane Prapanchepi Brahmaiva Bhati Bhasuram. So beautiful, so beautiful. This is what I keep on saying. These are all Incomparable. That is the glory of the Shankaracharya. How he can pack in few words the highest wisdom and such clarity and profundity. That's why he is Jagat Guru Shankaracharya. Absolutely. See what is saying. Grihyamane ghate. When you dig into the ghatam, what will you discover? Clay. That is what he is saying. Grihyamane ghate. If you investigate what is this ghatam, you will discover clay. Similarly, he is saying, if you investigate into this prapancha, what will you discover? Brahman, Ishvara. So good. You dig into a human being, Ishvara will be discovered. You dig into this Jagat, Ishvara will be discovered. That is what he is saying. So beautiful. And as long as you don't dig it into it, we are carried away by the names and forms. That is what names and forms are referred to as Maya. Names and forms, Nama Rupa, Nama Rupa, Nama Rupa. We are completely deluded by Nama and Rupa. Now we can do one thing. We have very less time. Now from here onwards, I leave rest of the verses. So just before. Those who are interested, I will just give you the classifications. Now we have come up till the verse 69, is it not? 67. And two more verses are there. They all have the same theme, okay? Let us leave it there. Till 69, all the verses have got the same theme. The theme is that, I'll tell you, from verses 59 to 69, these 10 verses are brilliant verses telling us that Ishvara alone is existing. Please go back and read it. Okay, verse 59 to 69. These verses tell us in a brilliant manner that whatever we are experiencing, including our own self, it is all nothing but Ishvara and Ishvara alone. 59 to 69. Okay? You just note it down. You have to go back and you have to keep on hammering this idea. Beautiful ideas. Verses 59 to 69 tell us that Ishvara alone is existing. There is nothing existing apart from Ishvara. There is nothing existing apart from Parabrahman. Okay. Then 70 to 74 deals with erroneous knowledge. I skip it. We don't have time to go into it. And that is not needed. Actually, we have finished the main portion. Okay. Our main intention is come to this vision that Ishvara alone is existing. That's the point. In between, many other points have been discussed. That is all. To understand this issue from different angles. But the central intention of this study is what? To come to the conclusion that nothing apart from Ishvara is existing. And that is what is Aparokshanubhuti. It is an amazing experience which is not happening through the sense organs of the mind. It is happening immediately without the mediacy of the mind and the sense organs. Okay. It is not Paroksha, it is not Pratyaksha, it is Aparoksha. And when you have this Aparokshanubhuti, that person's drishti will be that there is only one reality which is existing. With open eyes and with closed eyes, he sees there is only one entity which is existing. You call that entity Ishvara, you call that entity Brahman, you call that entity Paramatma, no matter what name you give. You call that entity Ramakrishna, doesn't matter. You call that entity Shiva. The worshippers of Shiva will say, Sab Shivamaya hai. Worshippers of Krishna will say, this everything is Krishnamaya. Now see, you bring bhakti here. Okay. Now you bring bhakti here. That is the beauty of it. That is what Shankaracharya does. All his stotram is now coming to this point. Then it is all Krishnamayam, it is Shivamayam, it is Kalimayam, it is Ramakrishnayam, it is Ramamayam, it is Narayanam. Whichever form you want to take, you take. But it is only one entity. Okay. This is the beauty of it. How supreme jnana and supreme bhakti is one. You understand? Now for a bhakta, Mirabai will say, Sab, everything is my Giridhari. Mere to Giridhar Gopal, dusro na koi. Is it not? What will she say? There is no one apart from Giridhari. Giridhari alone is there. So beautiful. She is mad in that. She is lost in that consciousness. The one consciousness. Somebody else will say, Rama Ratana Dhanapayu. I got this amazing dhanam called Rama Ratana Dhanapayu. There is only Ram alone is existing. It's all. So what is the conclusion? Only one thing is existing. You call that one thing by Ram or Krishna or Shiva or Kali. Worshippers of Ramakrishna will say it is Ramakrishna. Doesn't matter. The point is there is only one reality existing. That is Ishvara. You can look upon that Ishvara in this form or that form. Doesn't matter. That depends upon your bhava. This is the beauty of this great Advaitic system. That is why you see Shankaracharya, the greatest Advaitin in history, composing such heart-melting, literally heart-melting compositions. Shivashtakam, Yamunashtakam, Gangashtakam, Vishwanathashtakam, Bhavani Ashtakam, Annapurna Stotram, Narmadashtakam, all heart-melting, and what melody, what poetry. So beautiful. Why? Everything is one. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam. Amazing compositions. And Advaitin alone can do that. Now, I don't want to go into the... Dvaitins cannot do this. Note it down. The problem with Dvaita, for them God is only in one form. This is a big problem. Fanaticism comes, narrowing down of the reality. The moment you bring dualism, all problem starts. Only an Advaitin can be like this. Ramakrishna, he is worshipping Ma Kali, he is worshipping Krishna, he is worshipping Rama, he can worship everything. Because what is he worshipping? He is worshipping Brahman in so many forms. These are not different entities. They are all one reality worshipped in so many. And that is the glory and beauty of Hindu Dharma. This Hindu Dharma alone and alone does this. No one in this creation, no one, no religion. That is why Vivekananda says this is the only true religion. Vaidika Dharma is the only true religion. He keeps on hammering this idea. This Catholicity, this broadness is not there in any other religion. That is the beauty. And we Hindus have to be proud about it. We should know. And what is this India? India is India because of Hindu Dharma. Please remember this point. India is India because of Hindu Dharma. Without Hindu Dharma, where is India? Swamiji says this point. Let us not forget this point. We Hindus should be very aware of it. Presently, in the present political and social circumstances, we Hindus as a community have a very important role to play to preserve this great culture and civilization. The Hindu civilization of this land should be preserved. That is another aspect to it. Anyhow. So you see, so we have finished till this, that is from 59 to 69. These verses talk about the conclusion. So we have concluded the main thing, we have finished. Let us not go into other things. If time was there, we could have taken it. So the conclusion is that there is no second thing existing apart from Ishvara. Everything is Ishvara. Now this you have to hammer it. This is the sadhana. When you go back from this retreat, you should be carrying this in your thoughts, in your feelings, in your whole personality should throb with this idea. Ishvara alone is existing. Ishvara alone is existing. Whatever you want, you're seeing, try to cover it with Ishvara. This is what is the first mantra of the Ishavasya Upanishad. You remember what is the first mantra of Ishavasya? That is the clarion call of the Upanishads. Ishavasyam idam sarvam. My dear children, idam sarvam. All this is what? It is one Ishvara. This is the beauty of it. Amazing. All other thing which we are imagining, it's all imaginations. Sometime or other we will realize this point. So we should try to live with this vision that everything is Ishvara. And now see how beautiful things will happen. Now let us take up the next big subject. Acha, let me just tell you some classifications. If you're interested, you can note it down. So verses 59 to 69 dealt with the idea that Ishvara alone is existing. Verses 70 to 74, they deal with erroneous knowledge. To understand this, it may be a helping factor for us. Those who want to read it, you can read it. 70 to 74 deals with erroneous knowledge. And 75 to 86, again, almost 11 verses. 75 to 86, they deal with, again, the old problem of mistaking the Atman to be the body. Again, he goes back to the old problem because we are all caught up there, no? That has to be repeatedly hammered. from 76 to 86, Shankaracharya once again discusses the problem of mistaking the Atman to be the body. And then from 87 to 99, Shankaracharya takes up a very different subject, which is the subject issue of prarabdha. Now, is a jnani subject to prarabdha? That is a subject. That's a very technical subject. We need not go into it. Actually, for a jnani, there is no prarabdha. Prarabdha is something which is applicable only to ajnanis like all of us. We are all under the clutches of prarabdha. There is no escape from prarabdha as long as we don't gain this supreme knowledge. Once anyone who gains this supreme knowledge, he is free from prarabdha. That is what he discusses. It's a very important point, technically speaking. We should know that point also. I would say let us leave it, because there is something else which is very important. Before you leave, you should study that.
Okay.
Let me focus upon that. Because this is not something we have to be worried about. If you become jnanis, you will go beyond prarabdha. So don't worry about it. So let us focus upon that which will make us jnanis. Once you become jnanis, prarabdha automatically will become irrelevant. So why worry about it? So let us focus upon that which will make us true jnanis and true bhaktas. Let me use both the words. What will make me a true jnani and true bhakta? Let me focus on that. If you become a true bhakta and true jnani, automatically the prarabdha becomes irrelevant. That is the point. So let us not go into it because it will take time. Now, what I want to discuss is verses 100 to 125. Verse 100 to 125, where Shankaracharya discusses 15 steps, 15 practices which we have to practice to reach to this highest level of knowledge. 15 steps, 15 practices. This is what is practiced. We have to practice something. ऐसा नहीं है कि बस अभी गया तो बस जाके सो जाओ अभी. After going back, if you are serious, you will then put these things into practice. The question is, we have to continue this. So there are 15 things to be practiced. Let us focus upon that. That is very important. Because when we begin to practice it, it will take us to true jnana and true bhakti. Let us focus upon that. From 100 to 125. So 100 to 125. त्रिपञ्चाङ्गान्यथो वक्ष्ये पूर्वोक्तस्य हि लब्धये तैश्च सर्वैः सदा कार्यं निदिध्यासनमेव तु नित्याभ्यासादृते प्राप्तिर् न भवेत् सच्चिदात्मनः तस्मात् ब्रह्म निदिध्यासेत् जिज्ञासु श्रेयसे चिरम्. What is Shankaracharya saying here? He is saying that Tripanchangani means 15. 15. Tripanchangani vakshye. I am going to tell you 15 steps. Okay? 15 steps for what? Purvoktasya hi labdhaye. To attain what has been told before. What has been told before? Ishvara alone is existing. Is it not? This is the final vision. There is nothing existing apart from Ishvara. In order to attain this consciousness, in order to attain this experiential consciousness, okay, this is not something intellectual. Intellectual doesn't take us anywhere. It is a direct experience. It is Aparokshanubhuti. In order to attain this great experience, which is something beyond human intellect and mind, There are 15 steps, 15 practices which we have to take up. So he's saying, in order to attain this great attainment, we have to practice 15 disciplines. Taischa sarvai sada karyam. Everybody should always, words are very important. Taischa sarve sada. Everybody, every seeker of truth should always, okay, not only morning 2 hours and evening 1 hour and beach mein fir jo chahiye karo, aisa nahi chalega. In spiritual life, actually speaking, it is 24/7, 365 day affair. There is no, चलो आज संडे है, छुट्टी ले लेते हैं, ये नहीं चलेगा. No. There's no shortcut also. In spiritual life, there is no shortcut, and there is no chutti, no holidays. It is 24/7. It's a beautiful verse in Vedanta, Asupte ramrter kalam nayed Vedanta chintaya. From the time you wake up from your sleep. In sleep, we cannot do anything. That is actually, if you just look into if you do a little bit of mathematics of our whole life, how many years we spend only in sleep? You can calculate. Suppose if 100 years is our lifespan, if you calculate 8 hours sleep every day, you do the mathematics. You will see how many years we are only sleeping. And in sleep, you can't do anything. So only in the waking hours you can do it. Now use the waking hours to its maximum. Shankaracharya is saying, don't waste your time. If you are a seeker of truth, in your waking hours, the moment you wake up from sleep and till you go back to sleep, in those waking hours, sarvada, sadaiva, continuously in an unbroken way, you have to struggle to keep up that right drishti, which we have been studying here. It's a struggle. This is what makes the human life so meaningful. Tell me, if you just set this goal aside, what is the meaning of human life? Tell me, does human life has got any meaning? No. If you set aside this fact, what is human life? Just filling our belly and enjoying certain things sensorily and then sleeping. What are we doing? Filling our belly, enjoying certain things sensorily and sleeping. Filling our belly, enjoy certain things sensorily and sleeping. This is going on and on and on, and one day we die. Is this the meaning of human life? What makes the human life so beautiful, meaningful, purposeful is this great enterprise. We are eating so that we can do this. You understand? Otherwise, that eating has got no meaning. Yes, we have to eat nutritious food. You have to keep your body fit and strong, because it is only in a strong body that you can do all those things. But the body is kept strong for what? Not for bhoga. It is meant for yoga. Otherwise, what is the meaning of this fit body? The body should be fit and strong. I tell all the youngsters, and not only men, women also, you have to do exercises every day, because these exercises can be done only when the body is fit and healthy. If you fall sick, you won't be able to do it. The moment body falls sick, can you do it? You can't. Then the body will pull your whole consciousness and awareness down. If your consciousness and awareness has to rise higher and higher, this physical structure should be healthy and strong. It's very important. So this is what actually makes the human life so beautiful and meaningful. Otherwise, what is the meaning of human life? It has got no meaning. It is no different from an animal's life. Truly speaking, it has got no difference from animals' life.
Maharaji, this is giving us more sleepless nights than...
Yes, it is good. It's a very good thing. You should become sleepless. That is expected. This is the quality of a real seeker of truth. This is the characteristic of a real seeker of truth. A real seeker of truth will lose his sleep, because Sri Ramakrishna tells us this. How Sri Ramakrishna gives a very beautiful example. Sri Ramakrishna says, there is a confirmed thief. Okay. Confirmed thief, what I mean by confirmed thief means one who is addicted to stealing. Addiction, it's an addiction. It's addiction, something which you cannot be without them. Suppose if you can get addicted to certain things, no? What is that? Kleptomania, no? Kleptomania is there, no? Kleptomania. They just, वो कुछ भी मिलेगा ना डाल देगा अंदर. It's a mania. They don't realize what they are doing. It's a confirmed stealing habit. Similarly, a person who is kleptomaniac and one night he is in one room, okay? And in the adjacent room, there is a huge treasure of golds and diamonds and silver and pearls. And in the next room, this kleptomaniac is sleeping there. Now he doesn't know what is there in the adjacent room. Sri Ramakrishna says, if he comes to know what is there in the adjacent room, now will he be able to sleep? He won't be able to sleep unless he steals that, unless he gets that treasure. Similarly, there is a great treasure inside each one of us. Inside each one of us is the real treasure there throbbing in our hearts. Today we don't know about it. That's why we are all nicely just roaming about and wasting our time in all kinds of things. So in one sense, we all have to become kleptomaniac. Kleptomaniac here, what I mean to say is that you should be desperate to steal this treasure which is there in our hearts. You won't be able to sit quietly unless you get this treasure. It will make you sleepless. So this is a characteristic of a real seeker of truth. A real seeker of truth, he won't rest. There is no rest for him. That's what I'm saying. From the time he gets up in the morning till he goes to sleep, 365 days, 70 years, 80 years, till the body is alive, he will be continuously into this business. Constantly, Ishvara, 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 Ishvara. Constantly getting connected with Ishvara. I always say, there has to be Ishvara Sambandha. Without this Ishvara Sambandha, what is the human life? Tell me. Without establishing our connection with Ishvara, what is the point in living in human life? It doesn't even have any meaning. Husbands and wives and children, it is meaningless actually. How many husbands and how many wives we have lived with in our past lives? Can you imagine that? In every life it seems, this is my husband, this is my wife. In the past life, there was somebody else as my husband and wife. And at that time, we were very serious about that. Now that person is gone, now it's another person. Again, this is going on in lives after lives. How many children's? My child, my child, my child. In every life we feel this is my child. In the last life we had somebody else as my child. And countless numbers of lives we have lived like this. This is a kind of a dream and a hypnotism which is going on. Are these things going to fulfill the human heart? Impossible. Unless you get this treasure of Ishvara. It has got no meaning. That is why Shankaracharya is saying, Sarve Sadaiva. All the seekers of truth, at all points of time, what they have to do? Karyam nididhyasanamevatu. They should continuously practice nididhyasanam. Once again, I'll just sum up this meaning. Tripanchangani vakshe purvoktasya hi labdhaye. I'm going to tell you about the 15 steps and 15 practices meant for the attainment of what was discussed earlier. What was discussed earlier? That Ishvara alone is existing. If we have to reach that point, we have to practice these 15 disciplines. And this has to be done how? Sada, always, by survey, all the spiritual seekers. And what is the practice? Nididhyasanamevatu, the continuous meditation. Now, when we talk about meditation, Vedantic meditation is slightly different. Advaitic meditation is not only with closed eyes, it is with open eyes. And Advaitin is a person who is always in meditation. That's the beautiful beauty of it. Yogic meditation is what? You shut the door, you go inside, you close your eyes. That is fine. That is very important. Okay, I'm not underestimating it. That is very important. Initially, we need to do that. But when the Advaitic vision comes, that person is always in meditation. With the open eyes also, he is always in the awareness that it is all Ishvara. It is meditation. With open eyes, it is meditation. With closed eyes, it is meditation. This is what Sri Ramakrishna taught Naren. Is it not? He is God only with closed eyes. What about open eyes? Is it something else? It is Ishvara. So, Advaitin's vision is that. He is always communing with God, no matter whether his eyes is closed or his eyes is open. He is always communing with God. That's the point. And Nitya Abhyasat Riter Praptir Na Bhavet Satchidatmanaha. Without constant practice, this vision of the ultimate reality cannot be attained. He is saying without constant practice, this vision, what is this vision? That Ishvara alone is existing. This vision is not going to come without constant practice. Tasmad Brahma Nididhyase Jigyasu. Jigyasu. Jigyasu here is the seeker of truth. The seeker of truth should constantly meditate on that supreme reality. Shreyase Chiram, which will bring about the highest good. Shreyase. If you really want the highest good for yourself, constantly meditate on this point that Ishvara alone is existing. Now, this should be the constant practice. Now, what are the practices? Let us go into it. We'll try to finish these 15 steps and then we will stop. Because now this is the practice. We have seen what is the goal. Goal is what? Ishvara alone is existing. We have to come to this point. And to reach this goal, these are the 15 steps. We'll try to learn this and then we will stop. And then we can just sum up the whole thing. Now, in these 15 steps, actually Shankaracharya takes up the 8 steps given to us by Yoga Shastra, Ashtanga Yoga. That is the beauty of Shankaracharya. What does he do? He takes the 8 steps given by the great Patanjali Rishi. What are the 8 steps of the yoga? Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana and Samadhi. Is it not? These are the 8 steps. Shankaracharya takes all these 8 steps and to the 8 steps he adds 7 more. 8 plus 7, 15. He says, let us practice these 15 things. And there is a speciality here. The 8 steps given to us by the great Patanjali Rishi and the definitions given by that great Rishi. Shankaracharya gives it a totally Advaitic definition of those very terms. Okay? If you read Patanjali Yoga Sutra, have you read? Anyone read Patanjali Yoga Sutra? You have read. You have read? In that, the definitions given to Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi is of one kind. It is from the standpoint of actually Purusha Prakriti Bheda. Remember, there's a big differences there in that. They are all very important, okay? Those definitions are very important. I'm not underestimating, and they are not wrong also. Who am I to say that is wrong? My God, they're all rishis. How dare? But it is from a lower standpoint. It is from the standpoint of dualism. Purusha Prakriti Bheda. There are 2 realities for yogis. Reality is always 2 from the Sankhya and Yoga point of view. Purusha is also reality, and there is a second entity existing, coexisting separately, Prakriti. It is a separate entity. Vedanta goes one step ahead. This Prakriti, which seems to be existing separately, it is not separate. It is the very nature of Brahman. That is the climax, where Brahman and Shakti, Brahman and Prakriti are one. That is what Sri Ramakrishna, Shankaracharya, Sri Krishna, Upanishads, they represent. The ultimate picture is where there is no duality, there is no Purusha Prakriti Bheda. So Patanjali's definitions are all very important, very valid. But here, this great Acharya gives it a Advaitic definition, interpretation. It's a beautiful thing. You will see the beauty of it. What does he say? So, what is the first thing in the Ashtanga Yoga? Yama. And what is the definition of Yama? Yama is what? So, Yama is what? Ahimsa, Satya, Brahmacharya, Asteya, Aparigraha. Is it not? These are the 5 things. So, Patanjali says that you have to practice all these things. You have to practice Ahimsa separately, okay? Satya. You have to practice Brahmacharya. It's a beautiful thing. These are all very, very important things. Without Brahmacharya, without all these things, there is no... Now see, here some vital points come. Without the practice of Brahmacharya and all these things, no one can come to this point of Ishvara Drishti. It is impossible. So, Ahimsa, Satya, Brahmacharya, Asteya. Asteya is non-stealing. And Aparigraha, not hoarding things. These have to be practiced. Now, Shankaracharya beautifully gives Advaitic tone to it. What does he say? You see. Sarvam Brahmeti Vijnanat Indriya Grama Sanyamah Yamo Yamiti Samprokto Abhyasaniyo Muhurmuhu. He is saying, what is yama? According to Shankaracharya, what is yama? Yama means actually, it means control of the mind. By practicing ahimsa, satya, brahmacharya, asteya and aparigraha, what is actually happening is your mind is getting controlled. If you practice it separately, okay, today I will practice ahimsa, I will practice satya, and I will practice brahmacharya. All these are important. By doing that, what is happening is you are gaining mastery over your mind. The mind is becoming more and more controlled. Shankaracharya says, the best way to control the mind is what you know. You see, so beautiful. Sarvam Brahmeti Vijnanat. Know that everything is one Ishvara. When you know that everything is one Ishvara, there is nothing apart from Ishvara. When you know that ocean alone is existing, there are no waves. All the waves are nothing but the ocean. When you know that the clay alone is existing, there are no pots and jars and tumblers. These pots and jars and tumblers, they are nothing but clay. When you know that there are no separate ornaments existing, these ornaments are nothing but gold. Similarly, when you develop that drishti, that everything is one Ishvara, this Jiva and Jagat is nothing but the waves of Ishvara. When you have this drishti, automatically all those things will be accomplished. It's a very, very powerful way. Sarvam Brahmeti Vijnanat Indriya Grama Sanyamaha. Shankaracharya says here, here Shankaracharya, Yama literally means control of the senses. Indriya Grama Sanyamaha. The control of our sense organs. Automatically our sense organs get controlled. Yamo ayam iti samprokto. This is what is Yama according to the Advaitic vision. In order to control the sense organs, we don't have to separately do anything. Why is our sense organs not controlled? As long as you think that there is a second entity existing apart from you, your senses won't be under control. Is it not? If you really believe that there is a second entity, I am a human being and there is an object of pleasure which is existing separated. As long as I have this idea, our sense organs are not going to be controlled. But when you have this vision that everything is Ishvara, automatically your senses will be restrained. You don't have to separately practice brahmacharya, and brahmacharya will be natural for this person. Because the very tendency to seek pleasures, it comes down. Because his drishti is what? Everything is Ishvara. One thing I want to just present this idea to all of you. See, one of the yardsticks or one of the traits of a person who is practicing this vision. Which vision? That everything is Ishvara. That is the main vision now. Always you have to hammer this idea. Our main goal is what? Everything is Ishvara. Anybody who is practicing this or who is striving to be established in this, automatically he will become desireless. What will he desire? Are there any objects to be desired? Understand? The main characteristic of a Brahmagyani is what? Desirelessness. That is the characteristic of a spiritual person. The more and more we become desireless, the more and more we are closer to the highest reality. It is desires. And what causes desires? The idea that some object is actually existing separated from me. It will cause desire. If the pot is one entity and there is a tumbler, and the pot thinks that there is really a tumbler, another entity called tumbler existing separated from me, and it is really existing, then the pot desires the tumbler. But when the pot knows that I am also clay and the tumbler is also clay, there is no room for desire. You understand? Are you getting this point? If you take pot as one entity, and the tumbler as a second entity, and the tumbler and the pot feels attracted towards the tumbler because it is not seeing the clay. If it learns to see the clay, Where is the room for desire? If the pot realizes that I am also clay, the tumbler is also clay alone is existing, now there cannot be any desire in that pot. And when there are no desires, automatically your sense organs will be under control. This is what Shankaracharya is saying. So beautiful. So, Sarvam Brahmeti Vijnanat Indriya Grama Sanyama. This is how we have to control our sense organs. When you know that everything is Ishvara, automatically your sense organs will be under your control. This is what is known as Yama. Yama means control of the sense organs. Abhyasaniyo muhurmuhu. This has to be repeatedly practiced. See, number one, okay. Now, this is a practice. This we have to practice constantly. By bringing about this drishti that Ishvara alone is there, automatically your senses are restrained and controlled. Patanjali's all those 5 points automatically is accomplished here. Ahimsa, Satya, Brahmacharya, Asteya, Aparigraha, everything will be automatically accomplished with this method by seeing Ishvara alone everywhere. Then, what is Niyama? Niyama is the control of the mind. Okay, first one was the control of the senses. Niyama is the control of the mind. So, in Patanjali's definition, what is Niyama? Shaucha, Santosha, Tapas, Swadhyaya, Ishvara, Pranidhana. Is it not? These are the 5 points of Patanjali's Niyama. Shaucha is what? Cleanliness. Santosha, contentment. Tapas, austerity. Swadhyaya, constantly studying the scriptures and great. And Ishvara Pranidhana, completely surrendering to Ishvara. Okay, these are the 5 steps given by Patanjali in the name of Niyama. Shankaracharya says, Sajatiya Pravahascha Vijatiya Stiraskritihi Niyamo hi Paranando Niyamat Kriyate Budhaihi. He is saying, Sajatiya Prabhahascha Vijatiya Tiraskriti. So beautiful. Constantly maintaining one thought to the opposition or exclusion of all contrary thoughts. Sajatiya and Vijatiya. Sajatiya means of one kind, and Vijatiya means those which are opposed to or contrary to that one thought. Now, what is the one thought that we are supposed to maintain? Exactly. Everything. Constantly maintaining this one thought that Ishvara alone is existing. And to the exclusion of all contrary. See, this is what is practice. Okay, this is what is the homework for all of us if you take it seriously. From the time when you go out of this campus, when you're sitting in the bus, this should continuously now go on. When you're traveling back home, and there's no chutti, after going home I will practice. No. From now itself, it's a constantly, the mind should have only one content. Actually, best thing is, Om, Om, Om. Om means Ishvara, Ishvara, Ishvara. Om, 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 Om. So beautiful, very powerful. Om. Yes. What is that?
We do keep on repeating na Shivo.
Pardon?
Shivoham. Keep on repeating that, but that doesn't reflect in my behavior. Like for example, if someone says something which I don't like or anything, ahimsa is
gone.
Down the drain.
Very true, very true, very true. Yes, I agree with this point. This is very honest. Honest. This is everybody's case. So that is what I'm saying. Abhyasaniyo muhurmuhu. Don't give it up. It will come. It will come. When you constantly. No, Shivoham. Do you really mean what Shivoham means? That is what we have been trying to understand. Shivoham doesn't. Actually, what Shivoham means, everything is Ishvara and you are one with it. There is nothing existing apart from Ishvara. When you hold on to this drishti and bhava, this is initially a drishti and it is a bhava, it is not an experience. Bhava, how do you explain bhava in English? It is one, you live in a certain mood, It's a mental mold, and it's mental mold in which your emotions and thoughts all have got one content, in which emotions are also involved, okay? Your emotional dimension of your personality and your thinking side of your personality, everything together is what is Bhava Rajya. Okay? And your Bhava Rajya is saturated with this idea that Ishvara alone is existing, Ishvara alone is existing. Even I don't exist, Ishvara alone is existing. When you are continuously practicing this, automatically that will slowly go away. The tendency to lose our control, all those things will go away. Practice. Now practice, this is what is saying. This is what Shankaracharya says. This has to be practiced. If you practice it, it will come.
Maharaji, but if you practice it, we might become the snake from that story. There was a snake. There was
not even hissing. That one.
Oh, acha. No, I'm.
Will become vegetable, Maharaj.
No. I have to touch him. See, acha, shall we extend for one more day? You tell your Maharaj so that let us have it for the fourth day also. There are so many important issues to be touched upon. This is a very, very important point. Okay, let me just see. Okay, let us not waste our time. Let us finish this 15 points and then I will come to this question. Yesterday he was also asking, what will we do if some terrorist comes? I'll answer this question. This is a very important point. I'll come to that point. Okay, let me just remind me. I may forget this point. Let us first finish this 15 points and then we will come to that point. There are many other issues actually. Unless we clear all those grounds, you may go back with some wrong misunderstandings. But what to do because of the paucity of time, and we have to let us try to finish. So here Shankaracharya is saying all sajatiya vritti, sajatiya pravahasya, constantly keeping the mind saturated with the idea that Ishvara, and not allowing any contrary thoughts to intrude into the mind. This is what is the control of the mind. Now, see, everyone talks about mind is not controlled, mind is not controlled. Is it not? Why it is not controlled? As long as you think that the jiva and jagat and the objects are existing, the mind cannot be controlled. Is it not? As long as there are attractive things which is actually hijacking your mind, these objects are hijacking your mind, is it not? This is happening with everybody. Our minds are getting hijacked by these different objects. But when you inquire, you see that where are the objects? Where are the objects? First inquire and come to the conclusion. Every object which is coming before your mind's eyes, you should begin to see, where is the object? This is Ishvara's form. Into every object you begin to see Ishvara's form, gone. Now there is no room for the mind to get distracted. Now is there any object by which the mind can be distracted? Tell me, where is the object which can distract your mind? Because all the objects are what? Ishvara. You understand what a powerful method it is? This is how, this is what the Upanishad is saying, Ishavasyam idam sarvam. First understand that everything is nothing but Isha, Ishvara. When you have that, once you catch this has to be caught actually. It takes time to catch it. In 3 days, no magic is going to take place. But if you repeatedly try, any serious spiritual aspirant, a person who is an adhikari, who is a eligible person, he can catch this. And for that person now there is no room for distraction. What can distract this person? Because Ishvara alone is existing. This is what is control of the mind. So Shankaracharya, see the beauty of this definition. To keep the mind saturated with the vision and with the bhava that Ishvara alone is existing, to the exclusion of all contrary and opposing thoughts and ideas. This is what is known as control of the mind. This is what is known as niyama. So beautiful. Then, third point is tyaga. What is tyaga? Now see, everybody is talking about tyaga. Without tyaga, there is no spiritual life. Is it not? If you read Kathamrita, what do you find? Kama kanchan tyag, kama kanchan tyag, kama kanchan tyag. Every page. There is no question of spiritual life unless we rise above the disease of lust and greed, lust and greed, lust and greed. Absolutely no question of rising. But let us try to understand the tyaga in even more deeper sense. Here Shankaracharya gives a beautiful definition. Tyaga prapancha rupasya chidatmattvavalokanat Tyago hi mahatam pujyah sadyo mokshamayo yatah. See, so beautiful. What is Tyaga? Shankara, this is the Upanishadic definition of Tyaga. Shankaracharya is everything Upanishad, nothing. He is the greatest speaker of Upanishads. And what does he say? How are you going to renounce the world? Is it by running away? No, there's no question of running. Real Tyaga is what? When you cover everything by Ishvara, the world is automatically left. You understand Tyaga? When you realize the pots and tumblers and plates are all clay, the pots and tumblers and plates have been renounced.
Nothing left.
Clay alone is existing. When you know that clay alone is existing, where are the pots? This is the real meaning of Tyaga. When you understand that Ishvara alone is existing, where is the Jiva and Jagat? Jiva and Jagat is gone. This is the heights of Tyaga. For this person, Kama and Kanchana Tyaga will be just easy. Why we are so much governed by Kama and Kanchana? Because when we think that lust and greed is the objects of lust and greed, if they are really existing, you cannot be free from it. It will govern us. But when you know these objects of lust and greed, they are all nothing but you dig into it, it is Ishvara. It is gone, it is renounced. This is the heights of Tyaga. Heights of Tyaga. This is the highest vision of Tyaga. Covering everything with God is Tyaga. Where is the world? World is gone. So beautiful. Upanishadic vision of Tyaga. See? So Tyaga prapancha rupasya. How are you going to renounce the prapancha world? Chidatmatvavalokana. By seeing that everything is one Atman or one Brahman or Ishvara. When you cover everything with Ishvara, prapancha is gone. This is what is Tyaga. So beautiful. Tyago hi mahatam pujya. This is the Tyaga which is extremely adored by the great rishis. This is the real Tyaga. So it is not the question of running away from your family members. It is not that the wife is going to leave the husband or the husband is going to leave the wife. No. Nothing. You have to see everything as divine. Automatically everything changes. Then in that person, desires for lower things won't come. This is the thing. All those lower desires won't spring in that person when you have got this right vision that everything is Ishvara. Actually, the best human relationships can happen only when we have this vision. The best human relationships can exist only when we have this divine vision. When the husband learns to look at the wife as Ishvara's form. When the wife learns to look upon the husband as the form of the divine, then the best relationships can take place. When the parents learn to look upon the children as divine, then we don't mess up with. Otherwise, we are constantly mishandling. We are messing up with our life, owing to a wrong vision. See all kinds of ill treatment.
Maharaji, transaction also ceases to exist now when you are looking at the other person as divine. Transaction will. Right now we are in a
When we
transactional
are in the
relationship.
in-between.
No, the transactions will be in its best form. It will be best example. They didn't transact. They are the examples of that. You take these two entities. Why are we worshipping them? They are the role models of this. Relationship minus karma factor, the relationship becomes most elevated and sublime. We can't even imagine this. We are so much down into that dirt, we can't even imagine what this is actually. Try it out. You will understand the beauty of human relationships. When we don't do it, then only we understand the problem of this. We are so much steeped into this, this well of darkness. We have no idea about what is there above. So let this divine consciousness come in the persons. The vision, let us change and see how beautiful the relationships can be, the most beautiful. And in that, there won't be any selfishness. Let me tell you certain things, it will be hurting, please don't mind. All human relationships are selfish. All husband and wife, parents, children, it is all selfish. It will be hurting, my dear, I am sorry. But we should know it is all centered in self-centeredness. It may look very sweet sounding. It is all rooted in self-centeredness and selfishness. That's why it ends up in suffering in human life. Let the relationship be without any selfish interest and see what happens. I don't want anything from the other person. No, nothing, not even any kinds of pleasures. And yet I adore that person because it is Ishvara's form. Bring in this attitude and see how beautiful and how sublime that relationship. Your house will turn into a temple. Every house will turn into a temple. It will turn into an ashrama. Actually, this is the Vedic vision. It is grihastha ashrama. We have to convert our grihastha life into an ashrama. It is not a worldly enterprise of lust and greed. It is a playground to convert our transactions into divinity and into an ashrama-like situation where, and the central point of that is to become more and more unselfish. Not interacting with the other person for one's own selfish pleasures. Presently, if you just look into the two human beings' interactions, any two human being you take, man, woman, or all kinds of interactions, it is all centered in self-centeredness. The other person is important because that other person is serving my purpose. The other person is meaningful and important because in some way or the other, that other person is serving my own selfish purposes. Otherwise, what is the meaning of the other purpose? This is what the Upanishads teach us. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is one whole chapter dealing with this Yagyavalkya Maitri Samvada. It deals about this very subject. So you will find, this is the best way of all human relationships. That is why that's why, in all the so-called interactions between two persons, human beings, the greatest relationship is between the Guru and Shishya. An ideal Guru and ideal Shishya, in which two human beings come together with absolutely no self-interest. Their only interest is the good of the other person. Absolutely zero selfishness. In no other relationship this exists. If it exists, it becomes divine. If between a husband and wife, if this kind of a relationship exists, then it will become divine. Then they will become Brahmagyanis, and that is the goal of human life. So everyone has to strive it. It may be difficult. But see, gurus and shastras, they are showing us the way. Now don't give excuses that we are this, we are that. We are experts in giving excuses, Whether the other person is ready for it or not, you have to do it. What stops you from becoming like that? What stops you from becoming unselfish? Other person may not be ready. Now don't give this excuse that other person is not ready. The same problem, our Master Masha came with the same question to Sri Ramakrishna. He said, let your wife die, let she commit suicide, don't worry about it. Are you ready to do it? We are experts in giving excuses. Don't give excuses. If you really want to come to this vision, you have to pay the price. As I said in the beginning, are we ready to change ourselves? Spiritual life is our readiness to change ourselves, our old physical habits, our old mental habits, our old sensory habits. This is what makes you a true spiritual seeker. Unless you have this readiness, where is the question of being a spiritual seeker? The tea has come, no?
The divinity in shape of tea.
Okay, let's come and have it. Okay, let's have a cup of tea. It's 10:30.
No need to.
And we have to try to complete this, huh?
Yes.
And let us now speed up. Now we have only this.
Do you really mean it? Should I talk to Maharaj for the one day extension?
No, I didn't mean that. Because I have to go tomorrow. I have to reach Almora. Because tomorrow evening, Almora, we have a meeting there. I'm committed there. By 7 o'clock, I have to reach Almora. So I have to. Otherwise, I would have happy to interact with all of you. So anyway, let's see. Let's have. Yes.
Normal or black?
You give me milk tea, yeah.